I kind of just want to talk about the appeal of Homestuck for a second. This will be a quick one because honestly, I don't remember most things about Homestuck, even though I read the whole thing more than a year ago. But Sarah Zed mentioned, hey, why is Homestuck good? Why is it so popular? Um, I mean, it definitely had, like, the thing on the surface, I think, is basically just it has a very unique aesthetic that's specific to Homestuck. Um, Very quirky and charming writing style. But that's only if you, like, enjoy the aesthetic of Homestuck. Yeah, what if you don't? Maybe you like it for another reason. Sarah Zed mentioned, and this the thing that stuck out to me the most was when the trolls were introduced, there was a ensemble cast of characters that all had their own unique interests, um, and you could basically just latch on to and relate to anyone in particular. The same with the humans, I suppose, but there were only four humans in the beginning. And I definitely agree with that answer to an extent, but I think there's a deeper one that I've realized. So before we get to that deep reason, I wanted to just talk about the writing for a second and the whole plot in general. First of all, it's large, it's big, and usually when it's big, like, I don't know, the sunk cost fallacy kicks in. No, that's probably not the reason why, but usually when you spend a lot of time with something, you just come to eventually like it and realize what's so good about it for after spending so long with it. I think the other reason is that it's just not afraid. Like, so many characters die over and over again, and it doesn't matter if they die. The way that he written it is just like they can just come back to life, lol, and they'll still be in the story. So that adds moments of, like, tension and fun. No, not fun, but, like, when someone dies, you get emotionally attached to them. Um, so yeah, you're emotionally attached to the writing and Homestuck. But the third thing about the writing is that there's some really interesting, like, tight writing moments that I think are just like actual feats of really impressive writing on Andrew's part, I suppose. Hussey's. I'm talking about two moments in particular. I don't remember exactly what they're called, and I really did want to analyze them in, like, a big video, but I'm just kind of making this short one instead. Okay, so yeah, I just rewatched those moments, and it is impossible for me to explain what happened in them because I completely forgot how any of it made sense, but I do remember why I loved them so much. Let me actually say what they are. Jade Enter and Dirk Unite Synchronization. And the reason why I love them so much is because they are both sort of like tragedies. And the way that I would define a tragedy is a collection of non connected events in the beginning, in the end, become connected and could also cause something incredibly terrible to happen. And that is literally what Jade Enter is basically about. Um, because one dog tried to save their owner, a bunch of other really fucked up shit happens and doomed the whole universe, basically. And it also built up off of a lot of rules that established in Homestuck, and these rules in Homestuck's story, like, are specific to Homestuck, and that's what makes Homestuck so special. And I won't explain what those rules are, but it's something like if you put a dog in some reactor, it becomes the enemies of the suburb, the place they're playing in. Fucking whatever. The Homestuck's complicated. I'm not gonna explain it specifically, but I'm gonna explain the appeal. So besides that was Dirk Unite Synchronization, and that's basically a tragedy just happened. All of their friends are, like, dead, and it feels like there's no hope of them coming together. But Dirk, with just incredible planning, incredible forethought, and using the rules of Homestuck and the tools around him, he was able to bring it all back from nothing, and he united everyone. It was fucking amazing. It was a great thing that happened. And again, actually, the interesting thing about it is that it's the opposite of a tragedy. It's them somehow creating hope and achieving their goals despite something incredibly terrible happening. It's like it was so hype. But yeah, so those are just the writing moments. Here is the true, real appeal of Homestuck that I said was the deep reason, and it's because there are systems that Homestuck introduces that lets people express themselves. And what do I mean by systems? Well, first of all, let's I'll mention a few things, but there's more. There's more than that. But the first thing that I'll mention is the romance quadrants, and that's basically relationships that trolls use to describe what their relationship is. There's love, there's hate, there's a hating sort of love, aka a love sort of hate. Basically, it's just people like passionate about each other, and then there's some other thing where there's a third person involved, and you could literally just, I mean, troll relationship. The romance quadrants are similar to human quadrants, and you could have a real life relationship according to the romance troll quadrants. And I'm sure people have done that and called their relationships based on whatever they're called in Homestuck, being Kismesis and Moirails and all that stuff. Beyond that, other systems, I think my favorite one that really affected me the most is a Homestuck class spec thing, which is how the RPG system and no, how characters get their RPG abilities, basically. I find it so interesting because it's how the way that the personality types work is how you're supposed to interact with the world, and the world, according to the class specting system, is divided into 16 aspects, basically. So there's like, and also there's 16, so it could be divided into two, and there's opposites of each other, and there's also classes, which is how you interact with that aspect. I fucked around with this for quite a while. It's really interesting, and it's so cool. I don't even know what I am. I used to call myself a sylph of light, but I think that's completely inaccurate. And also like a page of blood, stuff like that. I mean, they also have really cool names, like the ones I just mentioned, Mage of Time. Like, come on. All of these aspects mean different things. Like light is information, void, which is the opposite of that, is the lack of things. I think. I don't know. Explain. They're pretty like vague, ethereal concepts. There's time and space. Time is like order. Space like creativity. There's life and death. There's, I don't know. They're cool Pokemon games to base off of, I suppose. And then there's, I mean, I already explained this, but how you interact with the aspects. And I don't remember exactly what they did, but it's like if the prince destroys their aspect, the heir becomes their aspect. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's very interesting. It's not just that. Like, there's more systems, and I'm already super deep into class specting. Like, I mean, this one's kind of in more. There's ways to express yourself through these systems in more subtle ways that Homestuck still lets you do, such as the typing style that all the characters have. Um, like Karkat's typing quirk, like all the characters have different typing quirks, is all caps lock, and Tavros is one where it's the opposite. It's all caps lock except for the beginning of the letter, like the capital letter. It's the complete opposite. Vriska is like there's eights when a word sounds like an eight, and just is the letter B. Aradia replaces O's with zeros. It's a lot. You can make up whatever you want. I used to have like replacing the letter N with the letter U and vice versa. You know, like it's also something to mess around with and express yourself when you're online and talk to people, you know. You could even make your own fucking troll. They all have interesting troll designs. You need to make up your own symbol. All the original ones in Homestuck are based off of like Greek gods or something. But you know, you can make your own cool looking thing. And yeah, I think I made my point. Um, Homestuck lets you express yourself throughout all these systems, and I've already explained other reasons why Homestuck is great. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get super in depth about it. Like I've completely forgotten a lot about Homestuck after a year, and more. So maybe I'll get back into it. Who knows? But I will definitely say, after reading it, you know, just once, it's a very valuable thing. I think everyone has to at least read it once in their lives, you know. It has definitely affected me as a person, and I don't remember everything about it, but I remember the things that I do quite a lot, I suppose. So yeah, that's Homestuck for you. Hope you read it someday if you haven't. Um, Thanks for listening. Homestuck forever. Consume everything and goodbye. I completely forgot to mention the music is banging and there's a lot of really good fan created stuff out there. Carcalicious. Okay, I'm done.